Hello. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Ellie here. Tuning back in after my journeys, my travels, and wanted to document and share some more of my experiences and just things that I feel like sharing, because why not? You know, I've got this drive and I could sit here listening to music and absorbing other stuffs, or I can share and express and create my own thing. So I also do like checking in with friends and doing calls and stuff. That's really ideal, like having that direct connection. But also I like to be able to speak to a wider audience. Some of the things I'd even be just talking with a friend about. So it's kind of like we're just on a call and you're my friend and we're talking, except I can't hear what you're saying back. But, you know, you could always say things back too via comments, you know, there we go. That's the communication. It's a conversation of some kind, because that is like the ideal. I love conversation where it's a, you know, give and receive, share, listen. I love listening. I love taking in other people's perspectives in life, just what, you know, thoughts, feelings, whatever it is, just connection. You know, really connection is the essence. So connection to self, connection to others, connection to the collective, planet and beyond, because we, you know, it's more than just planet Earth, third dimension, 2025. You know, there's a lot of layers, a lot of things going on. So as much as possible, being in connection and cohesion with all that is external and internal, through intention, through choice, through will. So that's you know, that's accessible within us every day. We have that choice of where we put our thoughts, our intentions, our choices. You know, we have so much power in our voices, and I will remind you and the internet every day of just how powerful you are. We are powerful, and we can move reality how we choose to, and that is pretty stinking cool. We can say and do what we choose, and as much as possible not giving that power away, which that's the ongoing, I want to say battle, but like struggle, you know, of reclaiming ourselves outside of the all the other stuffs that really does exist to distract and divide and weaken and keep things the way that they are. You know, if we're but yeah, evolution and change and growth is inevitable, and especially when we align with that every day and we choose that, it's like amplifies it. It's like a, you know, there's so many metaphors I could use, but it's good to breathe and slow down. Ground into the body, somatic practices, movement, stillness, attention. For me, my favorite one is bare feet on the earth, observing life and sunshine. And I just received so much sunshine and so many, I think it's negative ions from Mama Ocean, and I feel very refreshed, and I do feel like kind of this almost hangover from, you know, how much I experienced and how busy I was, to like the long 11-hour drive up north and getting resettled. Like there's I'm feeling a little bit like, you know, resetting, but yeah, I mean, my spirit and my heart and my cup feel you know, refilled, and also I'm adjusting. I'm a little bit like the drive back, I was like, the beginning of the drive back from Florida. So I was in Pensacola and then Gulf Shores, like Fort Morgan Peninsula area, and then all up north from there to St. Louis, St. Louis, Missouri, and yeah, the drive back was, at the beginning of the drive, I was feeling like on cloud nine, absolutely just over the moon with like what I experienced and feeling so grateful. And I still am all those things, but my physical body is a little bit, still needing some more rest. I slept really good last night, but I got in at like 5 a.m. I stopped in Memphis on my way up to get dinner, and I ended up, listening to some music and dancing for a bit, which as soon as I left, I had like a 4-hour drive home. I was like, like I just it's late. I just exhausted some energy moving, dancing, and this is gonna be not what I want to be doing, driving this vehicle. I want to go to bed right now. But I pushed through as much as I could, and then I eventually pulled over, took a little nap, made it home. So yeah, I got back, and yeah, so my sleep schedule's been a little strange, but overall I am just like feeling very refreshed. And yeah, I was reflecting on one of my last video I posted, kind of giving an update after that first night, and just that excitement and feeling like so in the flow and locked in and just with it. And the whole trip was really like that. And then, in my own internal state of that, and then sharing that experience with another person too, which I wasn't planning at all. I figured I'd be meeting people along the way and making friends as I go, and but I didn't really expect to drop in with one particular person for more than just like a moment. But I was unexpectedly met someone at a kava bar, actually. And if you don't know about kava, I recommend checking it out. And if some cities have like kava bars, and they're great places, like sober hangout places, where you can have a beverage, the different beverages they have. And kava is a root tea, and it has a very earthy taste. People don't drink it for the flavor. It's about what it does to the body, the nervous system. It relaxes your nervous system, and it stimulates your brain too, so you feel the sense of like peace in your body, but also like alert. And it's really good medicine, and it's a great alternative to alcohol, and still having that socialization and meeting people. And these places will typically have other teas and drinks, and kratom's also a thing that with anything anything can be misused or become like a crutch, I guess, which ideally, like, we can use these things sparingly and with intention, and enjoy how we feel and enjoy the company. But like with anything, they can get misused. And I know kratom has a bad rep, or it can be, or I've heard things where people are like, don't like it because it's not addictive, but people can get addicted to it, because typically the people who switch to kratom are getting off of like narcotics or other drugs. So it's just like in that personality to like, oh, well, this is a healthier alternative, and then getting kind of like hooked on that because of how it makes you feel, because it feels really good. But I mean, we all have our vices, and I guess the main thing, like going back to what I was saying, is intention and not giving your power away. Like, can I enjoy this thing without letting it consume me? That, or like needing it, like getting to enjoy it without a need, an intense like dependency or addiction to whatever it is externally. So being in check with ourselves is key for anything. Yeah, so I when I got into the ocean, I got in, or like to Pensacola is where I started. I got in town to the ocean right as the sun was setting, and it was so beautiful and peaceful, and I just was like, oh, I made it. I did it. I'm here. It was so good. And then I felt, it got dark. I was like, all right, let's go. I'm out in the city. Like, what's there to do? Let's go get out in the world again, because I was in Memphis the night before, and that was really special. And I love just being around people and making new friends and having fun. And so, yeah, Kava Bar seemed like a good spot, because I don't drink much. Occasionally, like in Memphis, I did, because it was like, I don't know, it can be a little fun to just have a little something to. But yeah, typically not one for drinking. If I do, just like a shot of tequila. It's great, good stuff. But anywho, like I was saying, everything's intention, moderation. So, so I went to this kava bar, and I met a man there that was very easy to talk to, and very, we just got into like a flow and got to know each other, and so everything in this trip was very synchronistic and serendipitous, that I was like seeing and perceiving and observing, things at any moment that were like, okay, affirming, like, wow, this is, overhear a conversation and it felt very relevant, or I would see someone with these particular tattoos and it was like, okay, like it was in flow state constantly. And I was reading this book while I was on, I've been reading started this book. It's called, it's like the chakras and the vagus nerve. And so it's integrating like spiritual, esoteric ideas and practices into like somatic nervous system work in the body, and it's been a really grounded way to like integrate kind of like the spiritual realms, and then ground it physically and mentally through like my intaking of the words. It's like I'm processing it intellectually, I'm like, okay, feeling it, perceiving it, just like in it. This man had the chakras in Sanskrit on his forearm. So from the beginning I was like, okay, like, all right, we're here. There's just like little affirmations that of connection between myself and whatever it is. Like, and I guess if I'm looking for that, I'll find that really anywhere. That's kind of just how I'm wired. So in ways, like, it's just kind of how I am and how I like to see the world and come into it. And because of that, my experiences are very fulfilling, and I feel very, affirmed that I am where I need to be as who I need to be, and I'm open to that, what I need from reality and from what's outside of me, and then sharing myself freely and openly as much as I can, like authentically and confidently, which when I'm in that flow state, I'm like in it, back in other realms, or like, in town, and when I get into certain places within myself, I struggle with a lot of anxiety and overthinking and ruminating and things that, like, most humans struggle with. But yeah, when I'm in that flow, it's like, okay, I'm here, I'm me, I'm sharing myself, and then I want to receive someone else, and I want to know them, and I want to explore whatever that connection may be. And it's different when you're out of town too. It's like the attachments and expectations are not really there, because it's like, I don't know if I'll ever see you again, and we're here, and this moment is what we have, and it kind of makes me even more vulnerable in a way that feels very safe, though. It's like, I don't, when I'm in tune with my my intuition, I can trust that, like, okay, if I'm trusting that this is safe, and being discerning and reading into things, and not, it's like balance between all of it, but discernment and observations, and taking that information and doing what, like deciding from there how much I like really, I don't know. But yeah, so I met this man, and it just felt kind of like, it was like this trust fall into life. Like, this trip was like me trust falling into the world and within myself, trusting the, what I'm a part of, and being open and receptive to what I need for myself, my journey, and moving forward into my life, like to build my continue to build my confidence and showing up in the world. And this was like exposure therapy in a sense of that. It's like, all right, I'm throwing myself out here in here. Like, I've got my van set up so I can sleep wherever I need to. Like, I'm just literally like, I'm free. Like, I felt the most free I've ever felt in my entire life. And coming into that place with myself and then sharing that with someone was even more freeing and liberating. So we ended up sharing, there was a mixture of like having time together, and also a part where like we were together most of the night, and then the next day we met up, and he showed me his little special place by a river. So we, I got to go be with the trees and in the woods, and we made a fire, and it was really special. It was really sweet. And the next day we went to the ocean together and sat there, and he brought his guitar, and I brought my ukulele and the paint canvas to paint, and it was just so special to just sit with the waters and create and play together. Like I expected to be alone most of the trip, and I did have a lot of alone time too, by the waters, and it was a good balance of alone time and then sharing it with someone that felt in resonance, and we just worked well together. It just felt like we had known each other for much longer than we have. And I know every time I say that, it sounds so cliche, but it's like a real thing. And I think we all know what that's like when you meet someone, and it's like the sense of safety and comfort and familiarity, just even in what they look like. It's like you look at their face, you're like, I know you from somewhere, like I know this. And it was very much that kind of connection and experience. And it was just, I haven't felt, every moment is new in life, but it just felt like, I don't know, I've been prepared for this trip my whole life in a way, or just like to be able to show up in myself as myself and then meet someone where they are and have this beautiful experience of connection and like just being together, finding safety and comfort in where we were, and creating and playing and enjoying the waters and the elements and nature. And it was really special, and I'm very grateful that I was able to experience that. And it's almost like I've been kind of hoping and seeking and reaching for intimacy and connection from certain people in my life before this trip, men specifically, and I've been finding that they weren't able to really meet me in that place, or they weren't available totally, or it's like, okay, I'm like reaching or in a place it's not really there for me. It's like it shouldn't be forced. It should really ideally just flow. Like it just kind of someone shares and flows, and then it's like, oh, I received this. But it's not felt like that for a bit. And I've been frustrated, honestly. It's like, why am I not being met with like this vulnerability and intimacy? And like, why am I, and then even just like the reaching for it almost keeps a distance from it, where it's like, okay, if we keep seeking for something externally, it's less available to us, where it's like, okay, I sit with that desire and I just imagine it as if it's already here, and then like connect to myself and find the intimacy with myself. And then, but also like there's nothing like sharing that with someone else. And it's like I just came out into the world and it was so easily just available to me, like just presented. It was like he was just waiting for me at the Kava bar. It felt like there was one other man at the bar when I got there, and then he ended up leaving. But it was just us there, and then there was some people in the back, but like we kind of just were like, I don't want to say forced, but like life just like bloop, like we plopped there next to each other and explored just each other and what was right there. And it was really good. And like I feel like my whole life has been a learning of how to really love without attachment, and getting comfortable with letting go, and not to truly meet someone where they are, and not try to not project a fantasy or ideal version of themselves onto them, but like how can I truly love someone and meet them where they are without wanting to make more of it, or have them be something specific for me, or label it, or have it forever, or hold on too tightly to it. And it's been a lot of lessons of that lately. And there's a part of me though that's like, I know what I want. I want something consistent. I want to feel like I have that companionship and partner that's there, like isn't gonna leave, like but also like the way that life works, and it's like I can't force things. Like whatever's meant for me will be there for me. Like I really do believe that. And the more that I try to hold and grip and make it happen a certain way, it's like it doesn't work like that. Like, oh, but boy, do I just want it to work like that. And in that, doing that, it's almost kept this distance and wall from me, and truly being able to love another and be loved. And but it's all been a part of my lessons and learning and growing and building me up to this place of me, being able to see the growth and see how far I've come to be able to have an experience like I did without needing it to be more. Like that I can, and yes, of course, yes, he lives very far away, so that does kind of make it a little easier to be like, oh, well, you're far, so, but also like when I was there with him, it was like I fully gave of myself, knowing that and I think that it was easier to do that almost too, because I knew that this might be the last time, I might not see him again. So it's like, okay, if I'm really living as if I'm fully present where I am, as I am, like, how would I show up, or how would you show up? It's like, okay, maybe we don't have more time with this person. Maybe this is my last day on earth. Like, how would I live? How would you live? How would you show up? And you'd probably let down your guard a good bit, and I was able to observe and see how much that I have grown, and was able to be in that state with someone and feel like, yeah, there was waves of grief that came up. Even there was a moment on the beach when kind of the realization hit me, and I don't know, he said something that kind of just like poked at me in a certain way, and then I got really like, ow, ooh, okay, like, I don't know, we're the reminder that this is temporary, I guess. I miss like the, ooh, like, this is so beautiful, and I want it to last forever, and this feels like, the feeling, it feels amazing, and there's this ache too of like, it's not forever, but even that, like, I can access those feelings of connection and gratitude and appreciation, and like feeling that connection even without it being physically present. Like, I can access that within myself. But in that moment, I'm not thinking of that. I'm just thinking of this ache of like, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm not going to see this person maybe ever again, unless we make plans to, which we could do that, and we can continue to talk. And I am someone who, like, when I make a connection, I don't want to just like fade. Like, I want to nurture that connection, even if it's not going to be, like a life partner, but just even as friends. Like, there's something here, and without expecting or attaching to it being a specific way, can I just like show up as myself and meet them and really show that love in that way, which is taken me a long time to get there, and it's not easy, but it can be easy too, because it's a choice of like, all right, what is love? Like, really sitting with that, like, what is love? And not just loving the feeling that person gets me, but if I, because that's what a lot of people are seeking, the feeling from somebody, instead of like really truly loving them. It's like, that's why so many relationships are toxic or codependent and all these things, because it's like we're just like in it for the feeling. We're not in it for the devotion to love itself outside of that person. Like, it's like love to love for love's sake, and not just to get something back in return. Like, that's like so needed. And but yeah, so I was feeling big feels, and I felt like I needed to get some space, so I just started walking out to the ocean, and literally part of me just wanted to disappear into the water, like become a mermaid and just dissolve into water and just totally get away from the situation. And I kept walking. I got far out, and then eventually I heard his voice, and he had come up and followed me into the water and was like, are you okay? Like, you good? Like, it seems like the void was calling you there. I was like, yeah, the void was calling me. And he's like, do you want to talk about it? Or like, I don't really know how to talk about my feelings right now. I just needed to kind of feel them. And eventually, like, the tears flowed, and I was able to talk about what came up, and he listened and held space really, really well. And that was really comforting, and it felt good to really like unpack some of the things going on inside of me. And eventually the energy shifted, and I was able to be playful and fun again and enjoy my time. But I had to sit with those feelings and get it out and feel really heard and held in that before I could move out of it. And eventually I shared a couple songs with him, and that was really special to feel, in my power and truth, and in that state of like, part of me struggles with these feelings of the things I wrestle with, and my anxiety, and feeling that just heaviness, and like I just want to run away or get it, just disappear from all of the feelings and the overwhelm. And then there's a part of me that's transmuted and created something out of those feelings. And, I made a song, my first song I shared with him, and just feeling him across from me. Like, it was one of the most like vulnerable, intimate experiences, really. I mean, I've shared my song with people, but yeah, that specific song, and usually it's just different when it's just one-on-one. Like, he was just right there looking at me, and most of it I like to close my eyes when I'm performing it. It feels safer to me, and also just looking at him in his eyes as I'm singing, and seeing how he was looking at me, and feeling just really seen and heard in a way that I don't feel very often, even though I can know in the back of my mind, like, people see me and they hear me and appreciate me, and yes, but when it's right in front of my face, physically there, it's just such a liberating feeling of like, I am heard, like I am seen, like I am held, I I am in my power, and I feel free, and I feel liberated, and I feel confident to share myself, which more of those moments, please, and thank you for all of us. But also, most of my life has not felt like that. It's been quite the opposite. I've struggled with feeling not feeling heard or seen or really held by the people in my life, and due to their own things, it's not like they meant to do that, but or that they weren't able to, or whatever, their capacity was just lacking. But but yeah, there are more layers and levels to like why things felt so profound and serendipitous. And I guess I can wrap this up. I have a client I need to go into soon, but I do want to fully like express like the depths, and also I bet very few people have made it this far into the video, but if you have, thank you for listening. I don't know, there's so much said without words too, but I felt like, this whole time I've had that static on in the back. We gotta turn off the static, we can, even with the static, I'm still able to tap in, lock into myself though. So that's, a thing we all have the ability to do. But I think I will make a second part to this and kind of share, I don't know, it's like this is the context for the other part is related to all of this. So I don't know, I'm just feeling kind of slowed down and a little bit like it's like beyond words, and like I want to share details and like the reason why things felt so profound, because of the parallels to the last time I was there in Gulf Shores 4 years ago, when I had a very profound experience, and it felt like that like set the tone and paved the path for me to have the experience that I had this time, and even like layered and was a foundation for like how it was just very interesting. Yeah, I'm just feeling kind of my body and my mind are just kind of like, just like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna, get out, buddy. Gosh, yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's weird. I am very tired. I think, like I said, I'm still kind of getting grounded back here and integrating everything, but it seems like so much of my life, it comes back to love and relationship and connection to myself and others, and how to have healthy connection to self and other, and like lived experiences of that are what really helps like integrate and shift certain stories, and then being able to show someone something that maybe they haven't really seen much of, and that can shift someone's entire reality afterwards, where it's like realizing that that's possible, and that's a thing, that like to be really seen and held and heard and loved in certain ways, that's really rare in this world, honestly. The more I talk to people, the more you realize like how lacking so many of us are from like healthy, deep, intimate, like real connection that feels fulfilling. And that is very heartbreaking to me. And right now I just kind of feel sad thinking about how many people feel a lack of love in their lives. And even for myself, how I've been feeling that, I have so many good friends, and my romantic relationships have been challenging. And so to experience this like romance and this connection without like drama and pain and all of the things that have gotten in the way of having like a healthy connection with the men in my life, it's like none of that was
there. It's just pure presence, and it was just fun and free and deep. I just felt the most free I've ever felt in my life. It was like nothing else mattered but like us, where we were, like shelter and safety, comfort, connection. It's beautiful. And even without it being like present physically, like that will always live inside of me. And for any moment of love and connection that any of us experience, like that is always alive inside of us. And we can access that whenever we choose, just like hand on the heart and just remembering that feeling, breathing into that, and knowing that that's there. We can have more moments like that. That life should be filled with as many moments of that as possible. And when you're in survival mode and when you're living in a system that's really not supportive of the soul and is actually quite the opposite of that, it's easy to get stuck in survival mode and stuck in a place of anxiety and fear and stress and worry. And and we can, as much as we can, consciously choose to go within ourselves into that peaceful place amidst all of the conflict and struggle and sickness and war and everything that's outside of us, because there's a lot of that. And integrating these experiences in the body, somatic practices, here, I'll show you that book. So it's chakras and the vagus nerve. I'll read you an intro to this and then I'm going to get going. But this book is about the capacity to heal yourself by understanding the restorative powers of your vagus nerve and chakras. These two separate systems, one measured by scientific principles, the other experienced through esoteric practices, bridge perfectly with each other in our bodies. Both systems have the power to restore your physical, psychological, and spiritual well-being so well that it would seem impractical to bypass one for the other as we work towards wholeness. If you possess a central nervous system, have ever struggled with anxiety, depression, or emotional dysregulation, believe you have experienced traumatic encounters in childhood or adulthood, or suffered from the results of trauma in your body, this book is for you. AKA all of us, because we live in a really crazy world. In fact, this book is for anyone who wants to stop running from their suffering that presents in the body and start gathering information on how to heal themselves. Our vagus nerve helps us to navigate our environment. It can determine our emotional well-being by gauging physical and emotional safety. As you will learn, it sends signals upward to the brain and back down to the organs and other systems with information about how to proceed with people and situations. Our chakras are energy centers in our body. They can be felt when we incorporate subtle practices such as meditation, yoga, bodywork, visualizations, breathwork, or shamanic experiences that slow our awareness down enough to connect with our body. They sense our personal state of being and manage our way in the world with the acuity and grace of sonar waves. The chakras are also felt in our body as we go about our day. We usually just don't slow down enough to notice. The overlay of these two systems is unmistakable. What this book will do is explain why your body experiences the felt sense of your emotions and sometimes shuts down when more difficult emotions, such as fear, anger, or sadness appear. I will explain how your vagus nerve and chakras play a role in this. I will also explain how the vagus nerve aligns with the 7 main chakras in your body, and I will break down what psychological aspects each of your chakra possesses and how they correlate with the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a long, fibrous nerve that appears to meander through your body. Though don't let its rambling appearance fool you. The vagus nerve serves as the unlocked gate to your inner peace. If you understand spirituality as a connection to the soul self within you and how this soul self is experiencing being human, your nervous system is the pathway to staying connected to your peace. Each branch of the vagus nerve sends and receives information to assist your life journey. The vagus nerve is known as the 10th cranial nerve, which originates in the brain. The vagus nerve manages control of the heart, lungs, and digestive tract. This nerve has a left and right side, but works as one system. With the help of the brain, the vagus nerve retains data sets from experiences and the meaning you put to them. It registers events, then pulls from that information when it feels it needs to keep the body safe in present situations. If we do not mend old emotional wounds or change the data sets that have been stored in our system, then we're defined by our past and bound to employ old coping strategies that may not be appropriate to the current situation. We are reacting to our past. We're not present to what is actually happening. This might be the simplest description of what trauma is. Each time you push old pains back, you stuff them deeper into your body. The hurt then resides in your vagus nerve, organ, muscles, fascia, and the brain. The data set is reinforced. That energetic reminder that is stored in your tangible self then resonates outward through the etheric energies of your body. Etheric in this case are the chakras that are sending and receiving vibrations. Unhealed emotional pain manifests into physical pain that is referred to as affect. Your system is screaming to be heard. I'm a licensed psychotherapist with a master's in family therapy. I have a background in healing trauma and working with people in recovery. I have been trained in approaches that process stuck energies through the body to alleviate the intensities I'm referring to. The modalities I use most with clients are body-centered. They include eye movement desensitization, EMDR, desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, and internal family systems, IFS, mindfulness, somatic work, and the energy psychology, also known as tapping. The approaches in this book are what I use to help lay the groundwork for processing my clients' traumatic events. In my professional world, we refer to this as resourcing. Resourcing includes using self-soothing exercises, grounding tools, and other calming approaches that assist your vagus nerve to engage in ways that feel safe. The exercises in this book are some of the resources I use with clients. I won't keep, there's a whole other, there's a lot of words, I could read, but here, I'll show you. This is an image of the vagus nerve. And, there's some really, really good stuff in here. So, that is that. I hope it's flipped for you. I guess for me it's reverse mirrored, but I think it should flip it for you. But highly recommend the book. And there's like a practical approach to everything in life, and there's also a deeper spiritual kind of unspoken understanding and knowing. It all begins with the questioning and seeking. We first have to ask a question and open up for something to receive what we need. So the first step is open it up, and from there things will come to us and flow, and we'll be where we it's our path and process. Sorry, I have a ripped nail I can't clean. I have all these towels. It's like those microfiber towels. You don't really like the texture of them at all, but they get the job done. And the last thing I need is a ripped nail getting stuck in. Well, that's not the last thing I need, but I don't need that. That's for sure. There's more other things that okay. Alright, I'm gonna okay. Healthy releases, yes, okay. Thank you so much for, being here and doing your thing and listening, and, okay. I will be back again, because this is where part of me lives on this platform here, so until then, or always now, okay.